Hello and welcome to Cassette Take. I'm your host, Ethan, along with.
Annmarie.
And welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please do not forget to rewind. And welcome to the Cassette Takes Oscar 2024 special.
Woo! First one, let's go!
Yes, we're much more enthusiastic and ready to deliver great content, unlike Al Pacino.
Poor guy. This is why you need a young and old person giving out awards.
Oh man, we had a fun time for the most part until that very anticlimactic end.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, in this episode, we just watched the Oscars. Literally, just ended about 5 minutes ago, and we're here to go through the results and talk about we're right, and wrong about certain things, and
Yeah.
what the Oscars can do, maybe to be better or worse. Who knows? So,
This is like our fourth year watching it together. Did you realize that?
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's been that many years. I don't know about you, but I like the Oscars. I know a lot of people don't like the Oscars, but I really enjoy them.
Ever since I saw Woody and Buzz on the
Oh, yeah.
presenting the award, I'm like, yo, yes.
We love it.
I would honestly would only run down at first for best animation made feature, and everything else I was kind of iffy about. But as I got older and started to have more of an appreciation for film and writing,
Yeah.
that's when I'm like, oh, these other things do count.
They do make sense.
Yeah. So I guess brief generalization. What were your thoughts on the Oscars?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked when they played the original songs too, and it was a very competitive year this year. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
I some things surprised me that one, some not so much, but I think it was a competitive year, and we actually both ended up. Well, Ethan watched all 10 of the Oscar movies. I watched
Yo,
8 out of 10.
I plowed through that like a excited high schooler starting One Piece. I mean, it was
You
great.
watched 3 of them in one day.
Yeah, starting off with Zone of Interest. Try starting off with that in the morning, first thing.
And then
Uh,
those movies are 2 hours each. You'd watch
Two and a
over
half.
6. Oh my
Love 'em,
goodness.
but hey, all of them were great. I will tell you that right. All the Best Picture nominees, I really enjoyed. I mean, probably the least favorite of mine would probably be Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
I again nothing against Scorsese. He's great, but this movie really could have been cut down quite a bit,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. So
Apple TV was trying to gun for it again. They had Coda 2 years ago, and they're like, guys, we gotta do something.
yeah, I'll tell you what, more of that runtime should have gone to Ridley Scott's Napoleon.
Oh gosh, we're throwing it back now.
Anyway, yeah, overall, I would say the Best Picture nominees, I loved all of them, and it was such a great year for movies.
Yeah, it really was. I feel like there was a lot of I honestly, when we were watching it, I became very uncertain of what was gonna win
No
Best Picture.
kidding.
I know every single one. Ethan's like, Amber, you can't switch your pick this much.
And it was coming after, I mean, again, the nothing against the other, categories and all that, but we all can acknowledge that there are some that less people pay attention to than
Yeah.
others and associate with the big award of the night, Best Picture. And you had one movie which we'll get to that won quite a few in a row, but for those, I don't want to say lesser, but quote unquote lesser awards.
Not the big seven.
Yeah,
not one
not
of the big seven. Yeah.
And then Amory's like, "He's gonna win Best Picture. I win Best Picture." I'm like, Amory, please.
It was just winning a lot of awards.
Yeah, you did have a case with one of those movies.
I had what? Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta go through the list. And
Yeah.
we gotta talk about it because there was some shockers here.
Which, speaking of, let's get to it with our first one. This is probably not going to be in the order of how they were announced, but
Yeah.
we're obviously going to save Best Picture for the last one.
Yeah.
So, Best Visual Effects is what we're going to start out with here.
Oh my gosh! All right, already go. Say what you want to say about it.
I told you so.
Stop it! I'm gonna have to raise that. You know that.
Yeah, so Godzilla minus won an award. It won an award. It won the Oscar, and I am so happy. That was the most wholesome award that was won because there you have all these happy people
Carried
that-
up Godzillas.
They have their own little Godzillas, and the director was carrying a golden Godzilla, and they're like trying to receive their Oscar, and they're like trying to figure out like, do I hold the Godzilla? Do I hold the Oscar? I need to hold the mic. I need to hold the letter and the envelope.
He manifested it.
Yeah, and I was just, I'm not. At first, I wasn't sure if he was speaking English when he was like, trying to give his speech. And then once I realized he was, I'm just like, oh, dude, please just speak in Japanese. People can, do, because I think that was the case with, I could be wrong, but didn't Parasite Bong Joon, didn't he like give it
From
in
what
Korean?
I remember. Yeah.
So I mean, again, I could be wrong, but if for people that don't speak English, and I mean, the attempt to try is appreciated for the audience, but
well, that movie was huge. Yeah.
And the creator, I have not seen the creator.
Really?
No.
Oh wait, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but the visual effects from what I have seen, they looked astounding.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Godzilla -1 for me. It's
Ethan, like, literally
so good.
Ethan jumped up. He's like, I told you. If you go back to our Godzilla episode, I was very harsh about the visual effects for this movie, and so I was wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Like, I mean, honestly, there's no like, well, Annmarie, don't worry about it, like, blah, blah, blah. No, you were wrong, and it's
wrong.
okay. Toho hears you now.
Whatever. Listen, it's, whatever. I got it. I think the creator was better, but it was really down to those two. So that was one of my big surprises of the night. I have, like, 3 big surprises, and that was one of them. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just so happy. Honestly, the receipt of the award was, again, probably my favorite part of the whole ceremony.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Like, I mean, best picture, best director, they're all great, but listen, that was the best moment right there.
They should change the Oscar man statue to Godzilla statues.
I fully endorse this decision. That way, like, if it ever gets nominated again, the team doesn't need to bring up their own Godzillas because they know they will be receiving one themselves.
All right, we're waiting for Godzilla -2 now to come out.
Math ain't mathin'. So next up here, we got Best Sound, which we actually...
This one was surprising.
I believe we both originally said Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Then I saw Zone of Interest.
Yes.
And that was one of the movies I watched like a day before the Oscars. And after that movie, I could not view that award the same again. Because I'm like, Oppenheimer might not have a chance here. Like, the Zone of Interest, and I guess I can give a little quick review here. It's such a haunting movie. It's the most haunting depiction of the Holocaust I've ever witnessed in my life. And, I mean, I might have a little bias here because I'm half Jewish, Ashkenazi specifically, but, I was so like blown away by this movie and torn apart by it at the same time, and all of that was because of the sound, not necessarily what I was seeing on screen. I mean, that of course was well done as well and like needed, and it assisted in that, but the sound design for that movie, I've never experienced a film like that before. And I watched that movie through the whole credits too, because it felt like it was still going, even though there's just the credits going through the screen. The sound was still going on, and it was hard to differentiate when the movie officially ended.
Yeah.
And does it end, honestly, with how it goes? But I'm not surprised that the Zone of Interest did end up winning. Oppenheimer was phenomenal, but the Zone of Interest, I completely understand it after yesterday.
I wanted to pull up your text because I thought this was like super powerful. Like, I can tell like when you really liked something because you were texting me after every single Oscar one that you watch, and you just go, wow, okay, Zone of Interest, yeah, that one is gonna haunt me for a while. Very well done, and it was intensely pissed me off. Good job, God. That was like one of the ones I didn't get to Zone of Interest or Anatomy of a Fall, and those were the two that I just missed. But after you talked about it, I'm like, oh, I really need to watch these movies now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like I'll get emotional if I keep talking about it. But
Next one.
yeah, best your favorite best film editing.
Yes. Oh, that's just say. Okay, I. I think obviously you can tell I really like to edit. Like I edit these podcasts, I edit the shorts that we do. I
Does a
have
phenomenal job of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I edit like on my own YouTube channel too. And I think editing is so important. It's such a way of storytelling. Like growing up, I wasn't the best writer or reader or like anything. And when I went to college, I found editing and it's such a storytelling. And I think it deserves more credit than most people give it. And I've been following Jennifer Lame now, and I'm just so happy for her. Like I like stood up right away. I'm like, yes, like she did it. Like we knew she was gonna win it, but
Yeah, I actually took a couple pictures of you because it was just like it was so cool to see like you in this. I don't want to say aspiring because you are a good editor. You are a phenomenal editor.
I have a long way to go, but I definitely love it so much.
Yeah,
So.
and so I took a little picture of you, a couple of them, and just I showed them to you obviously, but
Yeah.
they just you looking at Jennifer Lame, and just like granted she didn't say too much inspiring words of wisdom for you, but like still, it was still very heartening to see, something like that where you see your inspiration or like someone that really inspires you to, do what you do and
it's it's a huge role too because I think we had kind of not to poo-poo on Killers of the Flower Moon, but we had talked about how that editing wasn't super good, and so I think it's a huge aspect that people just leave out and needs to be recognized more, and to have like a woman do it and create like the film Oppenheimer, like that movie is so well paced, and it's because of its editing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If you were to tell me a 3-hour movie about the man who built the atomic bomb, was gonna make like nearly $1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, 3-hour movie in today's world with short form content being the way to go. I mean, like seriously, it's almost a insurmountable feat. But like this team, Jennifer Lame especially, able to piece together this puzzle just so immaculately. I will say immaculately. This, in my eyes, I think it's a perfect film.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of other people don't have that opinion, but I think she helped piece together a beautiful, immaculate film.
Answer my DMs, Jennifer. I want to connect. I want to learn from you.
Hear her out. All right, and next up, here's one of the ones that Annmarie was like, "Oh my gosh, like it's gonna win."
Stop.
Best production design.
I know. I'm shocked now that I say that, but
Yeah, so this one went to Poor Things, and well deserved. Poor Things.
They did good.
Oh my gosh.
They did good this year. So
Yeah, and I mean with production design, I'm not surprised about that at all. You look at those sets, like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. Well, and they also, they did well. So
Yeah, I mean, like it's very surreal, and it felt like you were in a painting, but like it was so immersive at the same time, and it almost felt like a Salvador Dali made Sweet Love to a Wes Anderson movie.
Oh, God.
A little bit,
Yeah.
With Tim Burton being the adoptive father. That's what it felt like.
Oh God.
But hey, if they're able to manage that and tell a great story, I think they deserve the best production design.
For sure.
Next up here, one of my favorites, best original score.
Oh yeah.
With my boy Ludwig winning for Oppenheimer.
Ethan is so into. I really respect it because I don't like feel the same way, but you are so about sound and score. You really think that makes a movie, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it absolutely does. I mean, when you're able to hear something like John Williams' Star Wars theme without even seeing what's going on, it sends chills down your spine. And I think you actually kind of felt like quite a powerful moment with music when we went to go see I believe it was David Newman,
Yeah.
conduct, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra in Chicago to The Force Awakens. We got to see the orchestra perform with the movie going, and you're like, this is never going to be the same. And
Yeah,
it really
you ruined movies for me. I could never go see a movie and be like, oh, it was good. I'm be like, no, if it was live sound.
You need your own mobile orchestra to
You
go with you.
literally ruined it. I can never see a film the same way now.
Yeah. No, but I think a score, like, I listen to scores while I'm taking a shower, like TMI, but I like have movie scores going while I'm in the shower.
Were
like
you listening to the...
Yeah. On the way here, I was listening to all the best picture or best score nominees on my way here, and I would not have it any other way. It was so delightful. American Fiction, by the way, so smooth. So
yeah,
smooth.
I honestly, I knew it was Oppenheimer, but American Fiction too, I was like, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, John Williams, my guy. I think,
my guy.
Yeah, I mean, we knew you were going to be nominated. We don't care how bad Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was. We knew you were going to be on this list. You always find your way because you are so damn good at what you do.
He doesn't need another one. Like, he did it.
Like this shelf is getting so full.
You guys, I have to keep dusting off my shelf.
I don't have room for my Legos. No, I'm kidding.
My Lego
Legos.
ornithopter. That's an inside joke, but...
I'm not sure if John Williams would have one of those.
You know what, John Williams? You should get the Lego ornithopter. I think it's super cool. I think you would really enjoy it.
Where are we going? Speaking of what the first thing that Legos think of when you come to mind, best original song. Who won? What Was I Made For?
Oh, Billie Eilish. You know what? Billie Eilish is making a good statement for herself. Because
absolutely.
She was nominated for the James Bond movie, but we were pretty sure she won for another one. And so it's fabulous. That song means so much to, Barbie and then the people that went to go see it. And so she's making a really strong case for herself, and I'm really happy that she won.
Her and Phineas, phenomenal job. And she's very humble, and I love that about her. Where she wasn't expecting to receive it, you could tell by her cadence and all that when she received it. But that song, I've seen how it has impacted people. I'm Just Ken.
It's funny.
Yeah, we love it. It's funny, and it makes everyone feel good. That's great. But it's very difficult to make a song that not only makes people feel good, but makes someone make them feel something more on top of it that almost transcends feeling good, and it feels like I can be more.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really impacted a lot of little girls that went to see Barbie. I mean, I can't really vouch too much for that because I am not one of said little girls. But I can sincerely, truly appreciate the value of this song, and music. Just it really does have quite a significant impact.
Yeah.
So congrats to Billie Eilish and Phineas.
Yeah.
Phineas.
Oh, for sure.
I was gonna say Ferb.
Ferb.
All right. Next up, we have best makeup and hairstyling, which was another one.
Stop.
You're gonna win. Poor Things.
Yeah, they definitely deserve it. I think that movie's so good.
Just look at Willem Dafoe. I think
yes.
his makeup alone, I think that kind of answers who was gonna win. In all honesty, and everyone else, Maestro, all these other nominees, they did a phenomenal job too. So shout out to them. Best costume design, another one. That's basically those were the three: production design,
Listen,
makeup, and costume.
For the Oscars, when people win a lot, it makes me think of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I'm like, well, they swept. Maybe this one will sweep. I honestly did not Best Picture was up for grabs in my mind. So whatever.
No kidding. But yeah, after best costume design, that was Poor Things. And by the way, for the other nominees, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, and Barbie, the only one I can really like sincerely say like, oh yeah, I could see that winning would be Barbie and maybe to an extent Napoleon.
Yeah.
Everyone else just it's kind of like modern. You can't really do too much with Oppenheimer in costume.
Yeah, like when it's just like a time period piece,
Yeah.
but not anything fancy. I always have a hard time with like the costumes of it, but
Yeah, especially if it's a more modern historical pick.
yeah.
So, I mean, again, that's nothing against the costume design.
No.
It's just like you don't really have much to work with when you're in that realm. But
Yeah.
hey, great job to everyone that was a part of that. Best cinematography. This one I was kind of up in the air with.
You were?
Yeah, I honestly thought that Poor Things might have a shot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Oppenheimer, I was like 95% sure, but there was still that 5% where I'm like, dang, they used all those lenses and like all this other stuff with Poor Things, and I really loved the cinematography of that movie. Really loved it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought for a moment there might be a shot that Oppenheimer wouldn't win, but hey, they won, and yeah, I can't complain about that.
I just go back to when we saw Oppenheimer and the scene of him walking in after they tested the bomb and people were cheering and all that, and it's like shaking. Oh my gosh, it's such a cool scene, and they played that scene for the TV, and so I thought it was really
You know how they did that, right? Did you ever see the behind the scenes?
No, how did they?
They kind of got one of those like old school projectors, they
Really?
yeah, that they use for schools and all that, and then they just kind of had that set up, and they kind of like were shaking it a little bit, so that way they were putting up the background, projecting the background, and then just shaking it.
That's such a simple way to do it,
right?
And it looks so good.
It's amazing, the simplicity but complexity of practicality.
Yeah,
I love it.
Love it.
Okay, so yeah, best cinematography. So we'll kind of like, we didn't really watch the best documentary stuff, so we'll kind of like.
We'll probably skip some of these.
Yeah, The Last Repair Shop. So congrats to them. Phenomenal. Best live action short, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, which by the way, I kept seeing that on YouTube. I thought that was like something that was like an advertisement for like a bigger Wes Anderson film he was doing. I didn't realize that was a short film.
It's kind of cool that he did it.
Yeah, did you ever watch it?
No.
No? Neither did I. I saw it again,
watch
constantly like going through my YouTube feed like throughout the year. I'm like, oh, that's a short film by Wes Anderson. So I might have to check that out. But congrats to Wes. They said that was his first Oscar? I thought he won for Fantastic Mr. Fox, didn't he?
I thought he did for Fantastic Mr. Fox. I'll look it up.
Yeah, but congrats to Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Best animated short, War is Over. Inspired by the music of John and Yoko. Okay. So did not see it, but congrats to them.
Yeah.
Okay, best international feature film. I did not see Perfect Days. I really wanted to. I didn't see a lot of these. You wanted Capitano to win simply because Italy.
Yeah.
But the Zone of Interest ended up winning, and honestly, I am not surprised.
See, it's so interesting to me. I feel like this happens quite often every year, where they get Best Picture, but also like Best International Film. And they never can seem to get Best Picture, but they get International Film, which is still very good. Like, you win an award. That's incredible. So I need to see this movie.
It is phenomenal. But yeah, congrats to Zone of Interest. And by the way, I did not know that was from the UK. I thought it was like from, because I saw A24, figured that was the distributor. And then I saw a Polish production company. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's a Polish movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Being shot in Poland makes sense. And then like I go to like the Oscars and I'm like scrolling through the nominees, prepping for our first like little teaser video or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what do you mean United Kingdom?
What are you
Is that a single
about?
British person? No, but Glazer might be British. I can't remember what his voice sounded like.
Yeah.
But congrats to them. Best documentary feature. This one we did not see, the 20 Days in Marypool.
Yeah.
But absolutely phenomenal speech.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was blown away. What was the line that he said? the one where it's like cinema is memories and memories make history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that quote. I love
I
it
do.
so much.
It's a very powerful, like, and I'm sure the film really reflects its speech too, like how powerful it is. So.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that movie, kind of like Zone of Interest. It's like unfortunate that a movie like that had to be made.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the world we live in. So
yeah.
so congrats to that team. Best animated feature. Here's the one that first kind of started our little surprise game.
Oh man, we were so confident, and it's just we saw both of these films. We saw Boy and Heron and Spider-Man and Across the Spider-Verse. Excuse me. And we both really liked The Boy and the Heron. It ended up on both of our top 5s, and same with Spider-Verse. But we were so confident.
Yeah, Across the Spider, especially when they were showing it again, like the little scenes. I'm like,
so cool.
I'm like, how does this not win?
How does it not get nominated for Best Picture?
That is a very true statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I as much as I love all those movies on the Best Picture list, I mean, there really should have been room for Across the Spider-Verse.
It did so well. Maybe third one, maybe Beyond the Spider-Verse. Who knows? But
yeah,
it's disappointing. Like, of course, I really like The Boy and the Heron, and I'm happy they won. But I don't know. I think Spider-Verse just had it over them. So their design, their story, everything. But superhero movies, they don't. They don't get it.
That would have been impressive though. Like you had Into the Spider-Verse win Best Animated Feature, and then it would have been cool if you had the sequel do the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's difficult to do. I mean, let alone get nominated.
Yeah, it's awesome like to get nominated.
Yeah, so The Boy and the Heron with Hayao Miyazaki, who, no surprise, didn't show up to receive it. I'm not sure where he stands right now with America, but I know he's never really been the biggest fan of America and American influence. So, but either way, I can still appreciate damn good filmmaker when he makes a damn good movie. And this might be his final movie. We don't know.
If it is, it's a good way to go out. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was that. Next up, we have Best Writing for an Original Screenplay. Mm-hmm. And this one was very interesting. I would say before I watched the I went my whole binge of Best Picture nominees, that I would have no idea what to tell you.
Yeah.
I would probably just say Maestro because I saw it. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But after watching all of these movies, well, actually, didn't see May, December, and I did not see... I did not see May, December. I would say that, absolutely, Anatomy of a Fall and Past Lives were my top 2 to win that award. But Anatomy of a Fall is such a complex screenplay and story that's... I'm not sure if it's written in 2 different languages, but I know that the dialogue is in 2 different languages throughout the film. And it's, again, such a complex story. I have no idea how someone can write something like that and, figure out all the different plot points, et cetera, so... And
it was a husband and wife duo, too. So.
Yeah, which is kind of fitting to what the story's about, if you know. But, congrats to Anatomy of a Fall. So now we got adapted screenplay.
This one was shocking to me. I thought Oppenheimer, but American Fiction pulled it out. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started to be like, well, another one of the times where I was like, oh, they're going to win Best Picture. But, American Fiction was my pick originally, and so it made me more confident. Should I have been, but...
Yeah, I mean, hey, I kind of want to read it now.
Oh, yeah, me too. Honestly, I didn't know it was, based off something, and so I really, want to pick it up now.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I think it's so funny.
It's so good. I didn't realize how good it was. I mean, I saw the trailer, earlier in the year, and I'm like, oh, this looks fun and interesting. And then, you saw it, and you're like, oh, dude, this is so good.
It's so funny.
I might put Jeffrey Wright over, Cillian Murphy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I go see it, I'm like, oh, my God, that was great.
It was so funny. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright, the whole cast and like, what a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
What a great movie. And the writing, so good.
Yeah.
It's so pure and so smooth. The whole movie is smooth, and I love it.
It really is.
Yeah. So we got Best Actress in a Supporting Role.
Oh, we missed this one. I was so sad about it.
Yeah, we were recording an episode, our review of Percy Jackson and Avatar, and
next week.
Yeah, we got our little time slots mixed up for Eastern and Central Time. So,
but we're really happy for Randall. We both called it. She was
great.
Wonderful. I said during it, I'm like, I really love what she's doing with her career, and I'm super happy for her.
She's wonderful.
Yeah.
Such a warm.
Person. She brings so much to the Holdovers too, like her character. So.
Yeah. So we got Best Actor in a Supporting Role, and this one was. I thought this was a shoo-in for Robert Downey Jr. at first, but this was like quite a sequence of events, like with the nominees being announced and then the award itself.
Yeah.
Care to do a breakdown, Annmarie?
I really like what they're doing now. Of instead of showing like a scene, they're having previous winners announce and everything.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was funny. So they had Ki Wan Han come up and all these other people come up. And Robert Downey Jr. just gets up there and it's Robert Downey Jr. He's so funny. And so we both were, though, kind of like, maybe Sterling can take this.
Yeah, especially after watching American Fiction. Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never seen him act like that before.
Yeah.
So
he's getting up there. He's doing well. So.
Yeah, I'm excited for his next project.
Yeah.
That's for certain. The thing, though, that really threw me off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, when they started doing this whole thing, because we weren't able to see the Best Supporting Actress at first. So we didn't know that they were doing this whole thing of, like, having the previous winners announce the nominees. And with one of them, I can't remember the actor,
I can't remember.
but he was, like, talking about Robert De Niro and his performance, and he actually said Academy Award winner rather than nominee, and he corrected himself, but it was just like, oh my gosh,
oh no,
does he know something?
Well, you got Robert correct.
Like, that would add to, I had no, like, Robert De Niro winning that award was not even in my head.
Yeah.
I mean, he did great and all that, but it was not his best performance.
No.
But I'm just like, can he? Like, is this gonna be one of those Nepo ones?
Nepo ones. That's funny.
But, thankfully it was Robert Downey Jr. I've been okay with Sterling K. Brown, in all honesty. But all these guys were great. Even Ken. So.
Even Ken.
So now we got Actress in a Leading Role.
Emma Stone. We
Emma
both
Stone.
called it. Emma Stone.
I'm never gonna stop doing that.
We called it. I really liked her speech too. Like, she was so. I love when they kind of thank the other nominees too, and so Emma Stone in Poor Things is just, she's awesome. I think I said earlier, I'm like, how everyone's talking about, like, who's the next Daniel Day-Lewis, who's the next, like, Meryl Streep, and I'm like, you know what, Emma Stone can throw her hat in there with, like, Florence Pugh and Zendaya and Anya Taylor-Joy. I'm like, Emma Stone's making a really good case for herself.
Yeah, I mean, I think she has been for quite some time, and she's been doing very well. I mean, she has 2 Oscar wins now.
Crazy.
So, I mean, bravo. She was phenomenal, and Poor Things, easily her best performance.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was so blown away by what she was able to achieve by that. And I can't remember who announced, like, was bringing up her nomination.
Yeah. But
they were talking about how such an original character she was and what she was able to bring in that sense of originality to that character, Bella Baxter. And I'm just like, that was so well put, because I've never seen a character like this before.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone else could have played Bella Baxter either. I think Emma Stone, like, had to play her. So.
Yes. Yeah. She was phenomenal in it. So yeah, very well deserved.
Yeah.
But we did say, though, that someone with the name Stone will win. And Lily Gladstone, we both agree that she was great.
She was the best part of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yes, she was,
for
hands
sure.
down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if she won, we'd be like...
We would have been happy.
Yeah, so happy. But congrats to Emma Stone. Next up, Best Actor in a Leading Role.
It's fine. I know it was gonna be Cillian Murphy, and I'm very happy for him too. I honestly was like, maybe Jeffrey Wright, and then I went to Coleman Domingo, and then I went to, but no, Cillian Murphy really embodies Oppenheimer, and I love his speech too. He's like, thank you to all the peacemakers out there in the world, and so. Yeah, he's a standout. He really is.
Yeah, stand-up guy too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cillian Murphy, just especially with the IMAX cameras and needing to act with a camera that close to your face and all those close-ups, intense close-ups, and just being able to capture everything that's going through this guy's mind during that time of creating the world's most devastating weapon. I mean, my God, how does one even start or even think about doing something like that?
And he even plays him in different periods of his life too. I kind of forgot about that, and so that's super cool.
As a promising novice physicist to now this very downtrodden, depressed, but on the surface trying to look optimistic kind of man, but just very well done, very well deserved. Congrats, Cillian Murphy. Best directing.
Yeah, we called this.
Who didn't call
Was
this?
there anyone else? No, very happy for Christopher Nolan. You know what? You said it. I thought it was super funny. Christopher Nolan should say F you, Warner Brothers.
Yeah. You got one secret sauce, Warner Brothers. I think this is so well deserved. It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time. And here's the thing, though. I would say if it were any other year, Oppenheimer wasn't part of this, I would say the award goes to Yorgos Lanthimos for his work on Poor Things. Because that was also such a brilliant movie. And then right after that, Jonathan Glazer. And I wasn't even thinking about Jonathan Glazer as Best Director. But then I kind of thought about it, and they showed an image on the screen when they were announcing the nominees of him kind of pointing. I'm just oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot of cameras that are just set up in place around this house. And I'm I didn't even think about how you would have to direct someone about what cameras are where and what you need to do, where your placement needs to be.
Yeah.
That is incredible and very impressive. So I at least wanted to shout out Jonathan Glazer on his work with Zone of Interest in the director's chair. But yeah, congrats to Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I really like what he's done with his career, because I love Inception and I love Interstellar and I even kind of like Tenet. And so to go from those kind of movies to Oppenheimer, I'm what is he gonna do next? I'm kind of excited to see anything's possible. So
get him to do a James Bond movie. I know that we kind of already found out that's probably not gonna happen, but that's cool. Such a missed opportunity at the box office.
Yeah.
So congrats, Chris Nolan, man, you deserve it. Next up is the final award of the night, the one that was
so awkward.
So awkward. Unbelievably so. You want to do a breakdown of this one?
Yeah, I just don't why, you guys, listen, Academy, listen to me real quick. We had the issue of the wrong person being announced, La La Land and Moonlight.
Moonlight
Hold on,
Oscar should not go together.
Listen, so why in the world are we letting old people just announce by themselves? No, that's mean. They just Al Pacino came up and he just read it right away. And it was just super awkward, and I don't know, it kind of ruined the night for me a little bit. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to the video game awards, but they got Al Pacino to present one of the awards, it kind of felt like for the Oscars he was doing that same kind of thing, I don't care, this is nothing, I should be involved with or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't seem right.
It was weird.
He seemed a little, I don't want to assume anything. I don't want to suggest anything, but it just kind of seemed a little senile esque of him.
Yeah,
And I know
I
he's
don't.
getting old, but like,
Yeah,
and I don't again want to imply anything that isn't true, but it just seemed like that.
it was just weird. But you know what? Ethan called it. Oppenheimer won. We we know it was gonna win and all that, and it deserves it. And they should be thanking Dune for moving to 2024. But no.
Yeah.
I love how I can slip Dune into anything we talk about.
I'm not against it. Like
Yeah.
I'm endorsing this.
But you really, when we saw Oppenheimer, Ethan was like, "This will win Best Picture."
Oh, immediately after I saw it. I mean, again, you can look back at our first review, which was Barbenheimer,
Mhm.
and we I mentioned there that this was my most anticipated movie of 2023.
Yeah.
Like I heard that Christopher Nolan was directing and writing a movie about the guy that made the atomic bomb, Oppenheimer, and I'm like, this is gonna be the best thing ever, and
Yeah.
I had no doubt in my mind that would be. And the fact that that movie was able to exceed my expectations, I was, pardon the pun, but like blown away.
Yeah.
It just was so good and perfect in every way, in my opinion. I know people are saying like, hey, it could have been shorter or whatever. I'm like, this thing was perfect at 3 hours. If it was a minute longer, if it was a minute shorter, I'm not sure if it would be the same. I think it was just cut so perfectly, acted so perfectly, directed so perfectly, produced so perfectly by Emma Thompson.
Mhm.
What a phenomenal job. There's a reason why everyone in like that got an award for Oppenheimer was like thanking Emma Thompson.
Mhm.
When a producer is able to affect their cast and crew to that extent where they're going out of their way to thank specifically you, like in leaving this specific moment in their thank you for you, you know you did something right. You are doing your job right, and I am so excited to see what Emma Thompson is going to do next. Is it going to be something with her husband and Chris Nolan? Probably. But like, I mean, hey, if it's not, I'm still excited for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful film, which is so weird to say beautiful for a bomb movie, but it really is so beautiful. And yeah, you hit it on the nail. Like that movie stacked with the best cast. It's edited amazing. It's produced wonderful, and yeah, it's an awesome film.
Yeah, it's also literally shot on film. So I mean,
Yes.
like that was I like the little thing that the cinematographer for Oppenheimer said, like, hey, to all you kids out there or whatever, like, this goes to show, like, hey, use celluloid or whatever, I thought that was pretty delightful, and he's
Yeah.
like, it's easier, and I'm just like, you go, man. I don't care
You're
if
right.
I don't care if Kodak maybe paid you to say that. But no, it's so cool. Like I find that interesting that film and old technology that's hundreds of years old can still provide like a significantly better image than like the
Mhm.
powerful technology we have nowadays, like digitally.
Yeah.
That I think that's such an incredible thing, and I'm like, yeah, if we can, why not use film or have some sort of aesthetic of it and focus on doing that more. I mean, I find myself enjoying those movies more, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
So you don't need to always be that way. You can record a movie from your phone and it can be just as good. You just have to have a story to tell.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. So overall, Emery, what would you say your opinion on the 90? I think it was 96.
You're
96
right.
Oscars.
I enjoyed it. I think a lot of the jokes were super funny too. Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling together were so funny. And I just really like this. Watching the Oscars with you is so much fun because it just like refills me of why we do this, why we make a podcast about movies, why we film stuff, why we write stuff, while I edit stuff. Like it just makes me so happy that like this craft is still alive today. I think Christopher Nolan mentioned it. He's like 100 years ago they had movies, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. And just sitting here, I think it just refills me as like a little kid of how much I'm like, I love movies. Like this is so much fun. So
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oscars, I know a lot of people talk about it as like a show when they, kind of just want to see like, oh, let's see the celebrities and all the big awards and all that. I'm like, I don't know, I really, I'm probably biased as a filmmaker, but I love seeing what goes into make a film and what goes into making a specifically good film.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also little show that is done alongside the Oscars for small independent filmmakers,
Yeah.
or aspiring filmmakers. That do you know who Joel Haver is?
Yeah, we talked about.
Yeah, he does his own little show like during the Oscars, where it's like, hey, if you don't feel like watching the Oscars, go ahead and spend that time and make your own movie within the time of the Oscars, during the Oscars, 3 hours, and then you have a week to edit it and then submit it. And I think it brings such a joy to see that, like, you don't always have to be looking towards the stars. You can look what's right in front of you and see what you can work with, and then from there it can get you to those stars that you once thought you just need to look at.
Yeah.
So I think that whether it be the Oscars or something as simple and as wholesome and delightful as Joel Haver's venture with this whole film Academy of Movies made during the Oscars, or I can't remember what it's called. It's a very elongated title, but I think regardless of that, it really goes to show that we're all filmmakers and we all have stories to tell, and whether we have the equipment or not, as long as you have the heart, you can get where you need to go.
Yeah. Couldn't say it better than that.
Yeah, you could. Go ahead.
No.
Okay. And on that note, yeah, what do you guys think of the Oscars? Did you guys enjoy it? Do you have any critiques, criticisms? Did you have any favorites that lost? Do you have any, like...
Were you shocked by any?
Were you shocked by any?
Yeah.
I mean, let us know any and all thoughts. Let us know all your takes on this tape and more in those comments down below. Don't forget to like our wonderful Oscar special. See if you want more of these hot tapes. And yeah, we're happy that you joined us here on Cassette Take. Please don't forget to rewind. And anything else, Annmarie?
Don't forget to watch these films, and yeah.
Support
filmmaking
creatives.
is just so cool. It's just so cool. I'm so glad we get to watch these. So
Yeah, and soon enough, get to make them.
yeah, let's go.
So take care, everybody.
Bye.
Have a good one.